Commentary on the book of Revelation 16, verse 17 to 21. This passage presents the climactic outpouring of the seventh bowl, marking the consummation of divine judgment and the full unveiling of what had already been secured through the finished work of Christ. The language is dramatic, symbolic, and covenantal, pointing not to the end of the physical world, but to the decisive end of an old order and the complete manifestation of a new one. It is done. The declaration, "It is done," echoes the finality of fulfillment. This is not the beginning of victory, but the announcement that what was accomplished has now reached its visible conclusion. The voice from the temple and the throne signifies divine authority, heaven affirming that the process of judgment has reached completion. This aligns with the idea that redemption and judgment were both secured at the cross, with this moment representing their historical manifestation. What had been spiritually accomplished is now being covenantally revealed. Verse 18, voices, thunderings, and a great earthquake. The imagery of voices, thunderings, and lightning is consistently associated with divine presence and judgment throughout Scripture. The great earthquake symbolizes a massive covenantal upheaval, not geological destruction, but the shaking of an established system. This earthquake represents the dismantling of the Old Covenant world, particularly centered around Jerusalem and its temple system. It is described as unparalleled because it marks the definitive transition between two ages, the age of law and the age of fulfilled righteousness. Verse 19, the great city divided. The great city, being split into three parts, reflects fragmentation and collapse. This city is best understood as Jerusalem, the center of the Old Covenant order. Its division signifies internal breakdown and complete judgment. The mention of Babylon the Great brings forward a symbolic identification, Jerusalem functioning as the covenantal counterpart to Babylon, representing opposition to God despite its religious identity. The cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath points to the outpouring of judgment that had long been warned, but is now fully realized. Islands and mountains. Flea islands and mountains often symbolize stability, power, and established structures. Their disappearance signifies the removal of all that once seemed immovable within the old order. This is not the annihilation of creation, but the dissolution of a covenantal framework. What once defined access to God, temple, priesthood, sacrifices, is now gone, having been rendered obsolete by the completed work of Christ. Verse 21, great hail from heaven. The great hail recalls Old Testament judgments, particularly those associated with divine warfare against covenant enemies. Each stone being extraordinarily heavy emphasizes the severity and completeness of the judgment. The continued blasphemy of men, even under judgment, highlights the hardness of reliance on the old system. Rather than turning, there is resistance, underscoring the finality of what is taking place. This is not corrective discipline, but conclusive judgment. Summary. Insight. This passage portrays the full and final collapse of the Old Covenant world and the public unveiling of a reality already secured. The language is not about the destruction of the physical cosmos, but about the end of a covenantal system that had reached its fulfillment. The emphasis is on completion. What had been promised, accomplished, and anticipated is now revealed in history. Judgment and fulfillment converge, marking the transition into a reality where access to God is no longer mediated by external systems, but fully realized through what has already been finished.